Imagine the land of Greece, many centuries ago. A night without electricity, only oil lamps and the slow shimmer of stars. Thebes rests beneath its hills, a city built not on peace, but on stories. Its walls are high, its gates strong, but behind those walls are people who carry ordinary worries. Bread for tomorrow, warmth for the night, water from the well. Tonight, we do not walk with generals or warriors, we walk with the shadow of families. Slowly, carefully, we will trace their line, from Cadmus the founder to Antigone the daughter who would not bend. Let your breath settle, let your thoughts quiet as we begin.
Cadmus wandered for Europa, his sister stolen by Zeus. He traveled by foot and by ship, across dusty plains and glittering waves. Imagine him sleeping under olive trees, eating figs and bread that hardened in his satchel, asking strangers if they had seen a woman carried away by a bull that was not a bull. The oracle told him to stop chasing and to follow instead a gentle cow. The cow walked slowly, grazing, then lay down in a quiet plain. There, the first stones of Thebes were set. Cadmus obeyed, but obedience is not always the end of a story. Sometimes it is the beginning of a curse.
Near the plain was a spring, guarded by a serpent. The air smelled of damp stone and moss, the kind of place where silence sits heavy. Cadmus killed the serpent, and on Athena's advice, planted its teeth in the soil. From the ground rose warriors, not born, but sprouted. They clashed immediately, striking each other down until only a few remained. These survivors became the founders of noble houses. So the city of Thebes was born not with harmony, but with conflict, with blood drying on the earth even as walls were lifted upward. A city that begins in violence often remembers it.
Cadmus married Harmonia, daughter of gods. The wedding was grand, attended by deities who brought gifts. Among them was a necklace, beautiful and glittering, but heavy with curse. A gift too perfect often carries a shadow. Harmonia wore it, not knowing how many futures it would darken. From this union came children, and from those children came generations who would carry the weight of that necklace, even when it was out of sight, hidden in a chest, waiting to be worn again.
Pause here and picture Thebes as it lived day to day. Streets of packed earth, markets filled with the smell of olives, cheese, and smoke. Farmers bringing goats through the gates, children running barefoot, priests chanting at dawn. Houses built of stone and timber, roofs of clay tile or straw. The lives of the people were simple, yet always shadowed by stories of their rulers. For in Greece, the lives of kings and the lives of citizens were threads woven tightly. As Cadmus aged, he felt the burden of what he had built, a city strong but heavy with secrets.
Generations passed. Laius became king. He received an oracle's warning. If you father a child, that child will be your ruin. The warning was clear, but human desire and pride are stronger than caution. A child was born. To escape fate, Laius ordered the infant abandoned. His ankles were bound, pierced and swollen. He was left on a mountainside. But fate does not sleep. Shepherds found the child. He was carried far away, raised in another land. Distance feels like safety, but distance is only another room in the same house of destiny.
The boy was called Oedipus, swollen foot. He grew in Corinth, loved as a prince, but haunted by whispers. When he heard a prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother, he fled from those he thought were his parents. He walked roads lined with dust, with thorn bushes scratching his legs. He carried water in a skin, bread that grew stale after days. He thought he was escaping fate. In truth, every step carried him closer to it. The air at crossroads always feels heavier, for paths meet not just in space, but in destiny. At one such crossroads, tempers flared. Oedipus quarreled with a traveler, an older man, proud and quick to anger. The clash was short, the blows sharp. Dust rose, hooves scattered, and in silence, a body lay still. Oedipus continued on, unaware he had just fulfilled the first half of his prophecy. He thought himself free. Fate, however, was patient, waiting at the next turn.
Thebes at that time suffered under the Sphinx, a creature with lion's body, bird's wings, and a woman's face. She perched on rocks, asking riddles, devouring those who failed. The people were weary, afraid to travel, afraid even to hope. Oedipus arrived, listened carefully, and answered with calm. The Sphinx fell, defeated by understanding rather than force. Thebes rejoiced, crowning him king, giving him Jocasta, the widowed queen, as his bride. The prophecy had folded itself neatly, though no one yet saw its edges.
For many years, Thebes flourished. Festivals with torches and lyres, children playing in courtyards, markets alive with trade. Oedipus ruled wisely. Jocasta smiled again, and the city believed its curse had ended. But beneath calm waters, currents move. The truth of Oedipus's birth remained, like a whisper behind a door, waiting to be heard. Calm is never permanent when built on secrets.
Then came the plague. Fields rotted, animals died, children wasted away. Desperate, Oedipus sought answers. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. He was Laius's son. Jocasta was his mother. The stranger he had killed on the road was his father. The words sank into silence, heavier than any shout. Jocasta fled into death. Oedipus, unwilling to see further, blinded himself. Thebes stood still, as if even the stones were holding their breath.
Blind and broken, Oedipus left the city. His daughters, Antigone and Ismene, guided him, leading his steps along rough paths. They knocked on doors for bread, drank from streams, slept under trees. In Colonus, outside Athens, Oedipus found rest. The earth itself seemed to receive him, quietly, gently, as though fate had finally softened. He vanished not in thunder, but in silence, leaving behind only the echo of his story. Back in Thebes, his sons, Eteocles and Polynices, fought for the throne. They had agreed to share it, one ruling, then the other. But promises of power fade quickly. Each raised armies, and the city was torn between them. When battle came, they struck each other down, dying at the same moment. Two brothers, two corpses, one city exhausted. Thebes learned again that family can be its own battlefield. Creon, Jocasta's brother, ruled. He decreed that Eteocles, who defended the city, would be buried with honor, but Polynices, who attacked, would be left unburied, his body for crows and dogs. Antigone, their sister, could not bear it. By torchlight, she scattered earth over her brother, a simple act, a human act. Caught, she did not deny it. She spoke calmly, with the quiet strength of one who knows her choice is final. Creon sentenced her to death, sealed in a stone chamber. Antigone did not scream. She simply became part of Thebes' long shadow.
And so the house of Thebes left its mark. From Cadmus, who planted serpent's teeth, to Oedipus, who solved riddles but could not escape his own, to Antigone, who chose love over law. The city's story is one of repetition. Warnings ignored, curses carried, choices made and remade. Yet within sorrow, there is also endurance. Thebes stands in ruins now, but its stories remain, told again at night, told slowly, until they become less curse, more lullaby. Tonight, as you rest, let the names fade: Cadmus, Jocasta, Oedipus, Antigone, and let only the rhythm remain, calm, steady, like waves against stone. Sleep comes as surely as dawn.